And your book teaches you how to get off the hamster wheel. And when my wife accidentally picked it up, of course, while I was watching hockey on television in the same room, and started to speak loudly about it, and if she would say that it's better than the Bible, which she said, I think that's how significant that book is. So, you guys that are on, you may not appreciate it as much as your wives or partners would or your friends would because it's just valuable. Thank you so much, Syl. Um, it's really helping me in my relationship and our relationship. It's really an important book. So you're onto something, Syl, that I think you've devalued, and I'm not sure how you can market it in a global way, but if it is better than the Bible, you're going to need a factory to market it. So uh, the book itself, the way it's set up was really it's just so neat. I thought of Sammy Joe when I saw your cartoons because Sammy Joe is an artist as well, and the short 2 or 3 page chapters with each cartoon metaphorically identifying the chapters were brilliant. And this at the end of the easy to read book, I don't know how many pages your tribute to all the books you've read and articles you've drawn from, but that speaks to the depth of your understanding and research that's gone into creating a simple document, a simple book that everyone can read and get a lot out of. So anything I can do, and I'm sure anybody on board can do to support and support that, it's just going to help everyone's mental health, athlete, non-athlete, husband, wife, any part of society, you name it. It's terrific. So, Syl, I don't even know where to go. People might have questions, but do you want to talk about the book? You mentioned why you wrote it, um, what you thought about as you were writing it, and I'm glad Daryl joined us because if we ever want to get into hockey, I do want to relate to the unique work you do in with him and his daughter in hockey because it is highly specialized. But more importantly, right now we're here for mental health. And Daryl, I'm just saying the book helps us get off the hamster wheel, and you know what that means. So welcome back, Daryl. And Kim, you have your hand up too. So go ahead, Kim, before we turn it over to Syl.
Well, I'm sure Syl will address this. And so I didn't know your entire background, but my first job I ever wanted to have was a cartoonist, and I have a degree in neuroscience too. So I think we might be fast friends here. But I think, the mental training side of it, especially with the pandemic, has really been an interesting topic for me recently. And there was an interview yesterday on CBC with Andre DeGrasse's mom. And I don't know if you heard it, but she was talking about, his challenges leading up to this year and the weight of expectations on his shoulders. Obviously, he probably exceeded some of those or met some of those with his performances. But it was interesting, without saying it, she sort of intimated that he was doing it for other people, or that the weight of other people's expectations of him were weighing very heavily on him, and that was affecting his performance or his mental health. And I was curious your perspective on that about, I always believe we have choices, like no one's forcing Andre DeGrasse to be there. And I don't want to misquote his mother, but it was something to the effect of, he has these expectations, sponsors, etc., and it's his job. And how hard is that to have everyone having these expectations of you and judging you on the world stage of your job? But at the end of the day, it is his job. He is getting paid by his sponsors and others in order to have those gold medal performances. So I'm just curious, obviously you've had the opportunity to work with world-class athletes. How do you approach that when it is, it's still his choice to be there. He could always walk away, but clearly he feels an obligation, perhaps is the right word. So it just struck me that, I heard it yesterday, and I'd love to hear your feedback or thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great example. I think, yeah, you know, one of the biggest things I tell every athlete I work with, and I think it applies to everyone, is the biggest thing is, you know, navigating life is keeping your head on. So, like, right from day one, you know, you're going to have all kinds of pressures. And the higher up you go in sport, the more of those mental pressures, you know, there's just a greater demand on you. And I think, yeah, number one, you have to keep your head on. And if you can do that, you know, it's incredible. So, yeah, with Andre and his mom, I think one of the big, one of the big things is perspective. Getting, like, changing your perspective is very, very powerful. And I think, you know, you can get sort of stuck in your own head. One of the, you know, a lot of times I've had, you know, NHL players where they get really caught up in their own head and they like think too much, think too much. And I think it's helpful to have a greater purpose. So like Andre, we think on the outside, wow, you know, he should have this gold medal. He should do it. And he feels like he's in a potentially a pressure cooker. But if you take the flip side and go, okay, well, this is an incredible opportunity I have. And I have a purpose. This is my actual, this is greater than me, this opportunity. So I think, you know, having that, you know, whether it be, you know, vying for a Stanley Cup or a gold medal, you think more about yourself and think about the team. And I think it really helps to, you know, actually take the pressure off. Go, hey, this is an opportunity where I can do this for the greater good. Whereas instead of saying, well, I need to do this, I need to, you know, run, you know, a 19 or whatever it may be. So I think it's, you know, or, you know, as a parent, you think of doing things for your kids. You know, it comes very naturally. Like, I want to do everything for my kids. So I think it's, yeah, just changing the perspective, I think, is the biggest thing, and realizing, you know, just our time in like on this planet is very short, and maximizing the opportunity. So it's like, this is actually quite a gift. You know, it's not like we asked for this pressure, and so now it's an opportunity to bring it on and do something for the greater good. Do something for your kids. Do something for your teammates, and then it really does help to take the pressure off. So I've used that with a number of my athletes, which has seemed to, you know, work quite well.
Awesome.
I just wanted to sort of interject, both Syl and Kim. You actually touched on it, Syl. I don't know if anyone saw the interview with